Hey guys, welcome to Multiplay. It's a DockyDarko.com podcast and I'm Doc. It's been a minute. I haven't been on for a while. I've been busy playing games, writing about games and all that sort of stuff, and technology, of course. But one of the big things I've done recently is I got to have a chat with Quentin Correggi, who's the associate producer on Ubisoft's massive title, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, he also worked as a project coordinator for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which I have to say is hands down, no lie, one of my favourite games on the Nintendo Switch. The thing I love the most about it is that it's a strategy game that anyone can pick up and play. The other thing I love about it is just the comedy and humour throughout it. The Mario characters and the Rabbids characters all coming together in one universe, and it's a little bit irreverent and bizarre. So I got to sit down and ask him a stack of questions about the making of the game and, of course, the release of Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope that they've been working on for around the last 5 years. So please excuse me if I do fanboy out a little bit in this conversation. The game's out now, and of course this conversation happened prior to the game coming out, but I can tell you it is an absolute blast and well worth playing on your Nintendo Switch. So here is my chat with Quentin Correggi, the associate producer on Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. You must be very excited. You've got Sparks of Hope just about to be released. You, of course, worked on the first game as well. And you must be ecstatic in the way that first game was received. I often refer to it as a game for people who are just getting their Nintendo Switches. It's in my top 5 easily of games that are must-own titles on that. And it was just such a different and brilliant approach to using Mario and Rabbids. Can you tell me a bit about how that came about in the first place?
The first one, so the original concept idea was coming from Ubisoft Milan. I think a lot of people know our creative director, Davide Soliani, who worked in the team to create a specific prototype. They knew they wanted to do something with the Rabbids and with the Mario characters, and they tried to go in very different directions and really trying to do something that has never been done before with the Mario characters. So they had several prototypes, and one of them was what became Mario plus Rabbid Kingdom Battle, so a tactical game. They went and presented it to Nintendo, who really liked it. They really liked the idea, and they especially really liked the fact that it was indeed something really new that was never been done before. And that basically kickstarted the relationship. Very soon, the Ubisoft Paris team came on board on the project, and we worked, the two teams, on various aspects of the game in what we call a co-lead development, of course, alongside the supervision and the counsels of Nintendo. And you are perfectly right. The game was a secret for a long time. It was quite hard for us to basically we were heads on the project. It was very hard to take a step back on what we were doing because we couldn't show or share anything with the rest of the world. And when finally we were able to announce the game at E3, and we saw the reception that was actually very, very positive. And after that, of course, when the game released and the feedbacks were overwhelmingly positive, I'm really glad to hear that it's in your top 5, and it's something that we regularly hear as well. Even now, 5 years after the release, that it's still considered one of the best Switch games. So it's great, but at the same time, it also came with a cost of responsibility. Okay, now we need to do even better for the next one. So that's what we try to do. Personally, I think we managed to do for the last 5 years.
Well, can you tell me a bit about that, about how the next one, the Sparks of Hopes, builds on the brilliant game that was Kingdom Battle?
So back to the release of Kingdom Battle, of course, player feedbacks are really important for us. So it was important to understand what players really enjoyed about the first one, what they didn't necessarily enjoy as much. And very early, we realized that what players seems to enjoy the most, and which was something that we brought new on the table of the tactical genre, is what I would say the freedom and the dynamism of the movement. In a lot of tactical games, you have a movement phase, but it's usually to go from point A to point B.
Sure,
And what we try to do in Kingdom Battle is really make that movement phase much more relevant and dynamic. So in Kingdom Battle, you could dash an enemy, team jump on one of your teammates, take a pipe, etc., etc. And that was really fresh, really new, and player really enjoyed that. So we knew that was our core X factor on the first one. So we decided to build upon that even further in the Donkey Kong Adventure expansion.
The DLC.
This time, even more freedom on the movement. You had Donkey Kong that could grab an enemy, throw it on another enemy, or take dandelions to move around faster in the battle. And once again, the feedbacks were extremely positive. So very early when we finished, when we released the Donkey Kong expansion, the team almost jumped in a couple of days in the early development of Sparks of Hope. And very soon we knew that the same. We wanted to go even further in terms of dynamism and movement. So we made lots of different prototypes of what we could improve there. And we were always thinking, I remember the feedback, it was, okay, it's not enough. We need to really push the boundaries even further. And at some point, I don't remember exactly who, but someone suggested, okay, but do we really need a grid? I mean, yeah, sure, we are a tactical games, but do we really need a grid? Do we really need to control a cursor? Why not just try at least to give the direct control to the characters to the player and see what happens? And so we tried that. And the very first minutes of gameplay from everyone involved in the team, of course, it was not perfect yet because we needed to adapt the whole system to that. But instantaneously, we realized that, okay, now we got something that is indeed based on the foundations of the Mario plus Rabbids brand, but at the same time, that really brings something that has almost never been seen before in a tactical game. So the main difference factor on the combat side, at least for the game, which is the main pillar of Sparks of Hope, we are mainly a combat game, is this real-time control of the character during the movement phase, which brings a lot of dynamism and freedom to the way we play this tactical game.
Like, we talk a lot about it being a tactical game, but you've managed to make it accessible to non-tactical players. Like, I'd played a little bit of XCOM and stuff like that before, but not heavily into it. And when I picked up Kingdom Battle for the first time, and I can't wait to get my hands on Sparks of Hope, it really felt like a different game and enjoyable in a way that I hadn't played in a tactical game before. Was that important for you to make it accessible to non-tactical players?
Yeah, more than important. It was one of our core intention, but at the same time, as always, it was also coming at a cost, because building a game that can that hardcore tactical veterans player can enjoy at the same time as newcomers, of course, it's a challenge. But it was crucial for us. It was really important that any players, any age, and any experience in the tactical genre could enjoy, of course. So we had lots of back and forth, especially iterating on the difficulty curves, the onboarding of the game, and of course the overall setting that is extremely joyful and chaotic with the Rabbids, the Nintendo characters, etc. And I'm glad that you say that. Every time I hear someone that tell me, usually I'm not really into tactical games. I've tried a couple before, but I never really got hooked. But I put my hands on the Kingdom Battle, and now I really like. At least I really like Kingdom Battle, but it's even better when they say, and now I even start to play other tactical games.
It's like a gateway game, isn't it?
Exactly. That we were a gateway, a door to a new audience to the tactical genre, because most of the people in the team, of course, we are Mario fans, but more than that, we're also tactical games fans. So it's really a source of pride to know that we managed to onboard a new audience in this field.
What I love about the game too is it blends two genres of IP together that wouldn't normally go together. Like the Rabbids are such irreverent and at times risque type characters, and the Mario characters are sort of more of that normal Nintendo fun cartoon. So bringing the two together really adds a different flavor. What's it like coming up with the stories around those two interactions?
Well, I think it's mainly a matter of balance. It was hard, not necessarily hard, but I would say challenging to find the right balance between those two iconic IPs and universes. We didn't want the game to be too much Rabbid. We didn't want the game to be too much Mario, Nintendo, Mushroom Kingdom. So we had a lot of iteration and back and forth, of course, within the team, but also in collaboration with Nintendo to find the perfect balance. And for the first one, this is mainly what we focused on. How much can we bring of the chaos of the Rabbids not just in the characters, but in the whole world as well, and how can they interact with their Nintendo counterpart. And I think that what I really enjoyed about the first one is the game is more than just the sum of the two universes. There is really something even better that it's created by the interactions of those two.
Yeah.
And we see how Mario and Peach interact with the Rabbids, and the Rabbids also evolved. In the first one, it's the Rabbids that most likely have the most personalities that we ever created. And so going to the second one, to Sparks of Hope, once again, ambition. So it was really important for us to go even further. So we really pushed the boundaries and the relationship with those characters even further. On the Rabbid side, they have now even more personalities. We are really proud to finally be able to voice also all the Rabbids characters that now have their own voices. That really brings a lot in terms of personality.
And of course, you've taken them into space now, so they've gone off onto another planet where they bump into some characters from Super Mario Odyssey. Can you tell me a bit about the story there?
The overall Sparks of Hope experience is taking place in the same Mario plus Rabbids universe from the first one, but it's a completely different story. Of course, you will meet some characters that you encountered in the first one, but this time it's not just one kingdom that is under threat. It's the whole galaxy. There is a new entity that is called Cursa, and the goal of Cursa is to absorb the whole energy of the galaxy, and it is especially attracted to the pure form of energy that are inside the sparks. The sparks are the small creatures that are born out of the merge of the Lumas from Mario Galaxy and the Rabbids. So our heroes are going to need to onboard on a galactic adventure, this time taking their spaceship and go from planet to planet to defeat Cursa's army and get rid of her malevolent effect on the planet.
Yeah, and the stakes are much higher this time, so it looks like a much bigger and beautiful game. So we're really looking forward to playing it. You've already announced some DLC for it, which seems like odd because the game's not even out yet, but we're already excited to see one of the greatest video game characters of all time join the game, Rayman. How do you feel about that?
Well, if you ask me personally, I cannot be happier about it. I think really, and that's not a way of saying it, I think that Rayman is one of the main reasons I'm working at Ubisoft right now. It's the first game that I ever played on my old father PC, and I played it a lot. So I personally am a huge Rayman fan. So I cannot be happier to finally be able to work on a Rayman experience. Of course, and as you mentioned, the game is not even released, so even for us, right now we have a kind of blurry idea of exactly what those DLCs will be. We know where we want to go, but of course we didn't really start to work on them now. Our focus is on making sure that the game releases in the best state possible.
Yeah, sure.
But it's amazing to finally be able to work on a Rayman experience. So this third DLC, of course, we cannot tell too much about it, but it will be a new adventure that will finally see the reunion of Rayman and the Rabbids, and that's really a joy.
Working with these big IPs and obviously having multiple masters, you're talking to Ubisoft and you're talking to Nintendo. Does it make you think, hey, maybe what we could do is expand the Rabbids even further and bring in another IP at some point and put the Rabbids up against them? So what would be your dream scenario to put the Rabbids up against any video game character of all time?
I will have to go personally because, of course, for the whole team and Ubisoft in general, right now the focus is on Mario plus Rabbids. I will have to think a bit about this one. I would love to see, and maybe that's a bit of my inner fanboy, but really I would love to see the Rabbids interacting a bit more also with very famous Ubisoft IPs, interaction between the worlds maybe of very serious Ubisoft games. And I think that the Rabbids, whether it's Tom Clancy's franchise or Assassin's Creed, of course, but I think we could also really bring something fresh with, once again, the chaos, the humor of the Rabbids, versus the seriousness that could come from other famous Ubisoft brands.
Love to see him in Rainbow Six. That'd be amazing.
Why
He's
not?
so good.
Yeah.
So it's a brilliant looking game. We're really looking forward to playing it, and congratulations. Like, it's one thing to build an amazing first game, to get the opportunity to go out and do it all over again must just feel like such an empowerment. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. The whole team is really, really excited. We have been working on this project for a bit more than 5 years now, and finally be able to see the feedbacks from the players, and even myself personally, be able to finally play it in my living room on my Switch. I can't wait. So yeah, we are really, really happy and excited about that.
So there we have it. There's my chat with Quentin Correggi, who worked on Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, you obviously stayed around to the end, so you might have liked that. So subscribe to the podcast now and head to dokiducko.com for more gaming and tech news, as well as competitions and stuff like that. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen.